Hold on, guys.
The vast majority of people in Tottenham reject what has happened here last night. A community that was already hurting has now had the heart ripped out of it. The post office, fitness shop, newsagents, mobile phone shops, council buildings that deal with customer complaints, smashed to pieces by mindless people last night, many of whom are not from Tottenham and had come from far beyond this community intent on causing violence. What happened here on Thursday night raised huge questions, and we need answers. But the response to that is not to loot, to rob. There are homeless people standing back there. We don't know if there are fatalities within some of the houses and homes and flats above some of the shops that are now burnt out. We have officers in hospital, some of whom are seriously injured. This is a disgrace, as so many of my constituents have said to me as I've walked up and talked to them. This must stop. And this is nothing like the sorts of scenes that we saw in Tottenham back 25 years ago. Then there was a particular relationship with the police. This is an attack on Tottenham, on people, ordinary people, shopkeepers, women, children, who are now standing on the streets homeless as a consequence. These are ordinary shopkeepers that live above their shops. There are questions about the nature of the escalation of this violence last night and the nature of the policing that led up to it. I'm concerned that what was a peaceful process, and of course it is always legitimate to protest peacefully, turned into this, and that it seemed to go on for many hours before we saw the kind of policing that I think is appropriate. And I think small skirmishes initially should have been stopped far quicker. So I have a meeting with the police and the broader community to discuss our way forward. And I think it's very important for people to remember the media come in these circumstances, they're here for a few days and they will disappear. But what they leave behind are a community of many people who are more about building community than destroying community. For every one person that threw a stone, there are thousands committed to Tottenham and building it, not destroying it. And that work will continue, and it will continue straight away to get back to normal, to turn our high road into something we can be proud of. This is totally unacceptable. I have lived here all of my life, and to see a high road that I've used, visited with local people devastated like this is deeply painful. So we will need answers, and I will continue to speak with the police, the Independent Police Complaints Commission, who need to be in close contact with the family of Mark Duggan particularly, who felt totally isolated, I think, in the initial stages after Thursday night. And of course, we now need restraint and calm. And I say to those who wanted to come to Tottenham to cause violence and disturbance to stay away. We don't need you. We don't want 25 years of rebuilding community and trust destroyed because of mindless nonsense on the streets of London. Thank you.
Do you know
We need justice. Peace before justice.
Who can say? Who can say?
You say to police. Let's talk about our side as well, not their side.
Well, I will ask questions about how this situation escalated so quickly and turned so violent, and why initial skirmishes were not dealt with.
So the people are still trying to...
When we get a justice?
Look,
It's not going
It
to
is
stop till we get
unacceptable.
justice.
It is
will never
wrong.
stop.
It is a disgrace for
This thing will
anyone
happen
to loot,
midnight,
to rob,
3 days.
to cause violence.
When we
I
get
condemn
justice,
it categorically.
it's not
There
fucking
can be
fair to-
no excuses for the kinds of scenes
we
that
need
I have
justice,
seen.
man. You're just talking
And I
about
think
it
when you
today.
look at it close up, it is absolutely
Man,
devastating
my friend,
and totally,
Say when we
totally
get justice, when
unacceptable.
you accept the justice to be done. Don't just chat what it says you're going to say. You're not going to make no peace out of that.
Hello, I'm the leader of Haringey Council. I'm here today with David Lammy, the local MP, with Sharon Grant, the widow of Bernie Grant, and with other community leaders who have contributed much to Tottenham over the last 25 years. I have to say that having walked along the high road this morning, the scene is nothing short of heartbreaking. Individuals have lost their homes, a community has had its heart ripped out, and the priority now needs to be both to ensure that people who do feel angry, and you can see people feel angry here this morning, that they receive the answers that they need to receive, that we as community leaders work together to ensure that they do get the answers they need. We know that the Police Complaints Commission is investigating. We haven't seen riots of this kind in Tottenham for 25 years. This is a place where people live harmoniously, where people are accepted, where people get along very well together, and it's why people feel so angry, so disturbed this morning at the scenes we see. As I say, our job over the weekend now is to get the answers that people need to hear. Then the next job, is to rebuild Tottenham, because the scenes of devastation behind me are not going to be fixed very quickly. They are going to take time, money, investment and commitment from all areas of government, from all parts of the community. So I urge the community at this time to stick together, to work towards rebuilding. We will work with you to get those answers, but please, please work with us. This violence needs to stop. Thank you.
How fearful are you there'll be more?
My name is Reverend Nimsa Bunge. I was here for 5 hours before this incident kicked off. I was here with the families. I was here with the communities. Now, something did happen on Thursday. A man was shot in our community, and the community cried out for justice. It is right that the community cries out for justice. We cannot play that down. We must respect the voice of this community. And the fact that somebody was killed in our community and the family came over here to say, give us answers as to why this happened. They didn't get the answers they wanted. They came and they said, why was our family not supported, having had the death in our family? They did not receive appropriate support. For 5 hours, they stood outside doing nothing. Now, what I want to acknowledge is what we see behind us is very painful. The heart of our community has been ripped out, and some folks have come in to Tottenham to escalate the situation. But what we must recognize is the people that came here, peaceful protesters saying, give us answers for what has happened 2 days ago. They didn't get those answers 4, 5 hours later. Now, I think we've got to recognize we need justice. That's what they're crying out for. What you hear over there is what people need. They're crying for justice, and we can't ignore that. It is right that that shouldn't have happened, but it is right that this community should have questions that it has answered. And until those questions are answered, I don't think we can effectively rebuild the community we want to rebuild. That's all I'm going to say for now.
So
See what's going on over there?